Okay, so how to print multiple objects on a single line. Okay, so let's take an example. Let's say we have name equal to Krishna and age equal to 40. Now let's say that we want to print this particular sentence. Krishna is 40 years old. Okay, how do we do this? One thing that we could do is we could say that Krishna is 40 years old. Okay, but this is not wrong. So that's what I wanted to print, and now I'm printing Krishna is 40 years old. Okay, but what is more important is this is really not what I desire, right? So what I want is I want to print whatever name is here, right? It could be Krishna, it could be Jacob, it could be any name. Okay, so let's say I change this to Jacob, right? Now I want to print Jacob is 40 years old, or let's say I change this to 20, right? So I want to print Jacob is 20 years old, right? As my variables change, I want my print statement also to get updated. Okay, so how do I achieve that? Okay, so let's go back to the initial values. I want to print Krishna is 40 years old. Okay, using these variables name and age. So how do I achieve that? Print, okay, so we have to print the name of the person. Print name is, okay, 40 years old. Okay, now let's execute this. Notice that we get Krishna is 40 years old. So what has happened? This name is now Krishna and this age here is now 40, right? So it takes the value 40, name here takes the value Krishna. Okay, so what has happened is multiple objects have been printed on a single line, and between every consecutive pair, right? So between every pair of consecutive objects here, you have a space. Okay, so between name and is, you have a space. Between is and the value of age, you have space. Likewise, between age and years old. Okay, so years old is a string, is a string, name contains a string, age contains an integer, right? So you could print multiple objects and you don't have any restriction on the type of the objects, right? So here one object is an integer, it holds an integer, the rest of them are strings, right? So you could print multiple objects of different types on a single line, and this is how we do it using Python.